Just when I was ready to tell WWE to go fuck themselves, along comes a big blue hug called SmackDown Live. Oh yes. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check here with your Tuesday, August 23rd SmackDown review. And I'm sorry, other than NXT TakeOver, the barrage of wrestling that we've gotten over the past 4 days so far, SmackDown tonight, in 2 hours, achieved more than the 9 combined hours of SummerSlam and Raw. You guys know I was really looking forward to SummerSlam, and I'm going to be doing some sort of a video at the end of the week to really properly collect my thoughts on SummerSlam and all that sort of thing. The title and all the injuries and all that sort of shit. And then Raw. Guys, I was really deflated when I did the Raw review last night. As you guys can probably tell, I did quite a rant. I even put it in the title. I wasn't having a good time, and there's one, like I say, there's one little blue glimmer of hope, because the best match of SummerSlam by a country mile not only included John Cena, but came from the Blue brand. So the last vestiges, the last strings and ligaments of hope that I have fell onto this show. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm not ashamed to admit it. SmackDown saved WWE for me this week, and I'm pretty sure NXT will do the same, and we will find an even keel next week. But on the pre-show, we had Dean Ambrose on the Skype machine, which you guys know I don't like. It looks kind of cheesy, and it's always a little off, but whatever. It's Dean Ambrose, and he's doing his thing. We hear what we've been hearing on social media all day, that there's going to be 2 new championships. We're not going to say what they are, but we're going to get 2 new championships on Raw. We're going to get Carmella versus Nikki Bella, which is great. Nikki Bella's first match back on her new home brand, which is great. And then we see all the stuff from Orton versus Lesnar again, and we find out that Stephanie McMahon's really big consequences for Brock Lesnar were she fined him $500. $500. And where that goes tonight, I will question a little bit, but it's still good. We open cold this episode, which is really kind of cool. We've been starting the past couple of weeks, starting off SmackDown with a couple backstage interviews going into the matches of the night, but this worked too. AJ walks into the locker room. Now, I say he walks into the locker room. He walks into a locker room that has Rhino, Apollo Crews, Heath Slater, and Dolph Ziggler in it. And starts crowing off, and he beat the face that runs the place, and he's got the symbolic armband that John Cena left in the ring at I keep saying Survivor Series, guys. I've got my ticket for November. It's at the top of the mind. Sorry about that. The armband that he left in the middle of the ring symbolically at SummerSlam is now on the arm of AJ Styles. Great little heel moment there. He gives a speech to the whole locker room. I'm the new face that runs the place. Just make sure you remember who I am when you talk to me, rah. Ziggler's in the corner with his head down. He's selling his disappointment and whatever. And AJ Styles starts poking at him. Oh yeah, you're the guy that lost last night. You're the guy that almost became champion with predictable results. Ziggler beats him up a little bit, and then the guys pull him off, and you know, they're all baby faces, so they're all doing the whole come on Ziggler, it's not worth it, you know, rah. Then we go into the open. Then we go down to the ring, and there's no big reveal because the belts are already uncovered. You've got the entire women's and tag team roster in the ring with Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley, and they reveal the 2 belts. And here's what I'm going to say about the 2 belts. The women's division title is kind of ugly. I will say that much. It is the women's title from Raw, except the colors are white and this sort of pastel. Okay, just because I've got this... yes, I have Dino Shark. I have fucked up movies. It's this kind of light blue and white, which doesn't look very good because it makes it look pastel, which is not the greatest. But I will say, shoot me if you want to. The SmackDown Tag Team Championships look badass. They are the same title belts as Raw, the penny belts that they've been called for years. Except the plates are silver, they're polished silver, so they're shiny and they're glossy and they look really, really good. And the straps are a really dark navy blue color. Now, I will say, I have been one of the few people that has always defended the so-called penny belts on Raw. It's two warriors on a belt. When you're fighting in a tag team scenario, what are you? You're two warriors going to battle. It's very simplistic, I get that, but it's also so goddamn fitting. So take this image that I already appreciate, put it on an even better looking, I hate to use the word color scheme because that sounds really cheesy. This is an upgraded version of the tag team belts on Raw. It really is. I understand the whole, like, there's a lack of creativity. Of course there is. They did not go and make a new design. I get that. And I will fully admit that. But I'm okay with that because the design of the tag team belts on Raw, I like. This new iteration of that is good. You know, the WWE World title is not, the one that Dean Ambrose holds, is not very great to start with. So when they went and they made it red for the... saving that for another day, they took something that was already not great and made it worse. In my opinion, you took the so-called penny belts from Raw that I already appreciate as a design, and you made them better. So of the three belts that we've seen introduced in the past 5 days or so, these are the best. And how can I say this? Unless they do something really awesome with the Cruiserweight title, because we didn't get that. We saw a preview of the Cruiserweight trophy at TakeOver, but they didn't show us the belts because fuck Triple H sometimes. Unless they come up with something super awesome for the Cruiserweight title that's coming on the 19th of September, I believe, then the SmackDown Tag Team titles are my new favorite belts currently in the company. Note I said currently. I will say, go back to the Winged Eagle any day of the week. Go back to the Attitude Era Championship any day of the week. The WCW-ish World title any day of the week. The Undisputed title that Brock Lesnar carried around with him for a little while any day of the week. But currently, all the other titles are just WWE logos. All the New Age title. I mean, okay, they brought back the Classic Intercontinental, so that's up here. I will say that. So, sorry, I misspoke there. The Classic Intercontinental title that is currently being held by the... Who has the Intercontinental Championship right now? That's bad, isn't it? That's really bad. Who the fuck is the Intercontinental Champion right now? Oh, it's The Miz. It is The Miz, isn't it? Because the U.S. champion is Rusev. I inverted them for a second. The Intercontinental Championship is the best. Gonna reset everything I just... Intercontinental Championship is the best. But coming up a close second, because the U.S. title looks like shit, and everything else is just a big W, and the penny belts have been upgraded. So, at the risk of sounding repetitive, the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships are now my second favorite current belt in the company. I will wait for the hate down in the box below. They announced that there's going to be a women's six-pack challenge at Backlash to establish the first champion. Obviously, Nikki Bella, Natalya, Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Carmella, and... who's the other one? Fuck me. Who's the other one? Fuck me. Oh, Naomi, unfortunately, for reasons. And the tag team division, I figured they were going to announce a six-pack challenge for the tag team division as well. But there's going to be a tag team title tournament ending at Backlash. This whole ceremony is interrupted by Slater. Talks about how close he has come in the past couple of weeks getting a SmackDown contract. He says, let me get my hands on some gold. Brian says, you don't have the equipment to become a women's champ. Shane says, you don't have the equipment to be a tag team champ either because you don't have a partner. And you're not on the roster, by the way. Slater says, I'll get a partner and I will win. Shane says, cool, find a partner by the end of the night. Which leads to a lot of comical shit in the back. He tries to be tag team partners with The Miz, and he tries to be tag team partners with Arn Anderson. Oh, the hilarity. Stop it. My sides are absolutely splitting. If you find a partner and win the whole tournament, you can have a contract to wrestle for us on SmackDown. He says, I'm going to go find a partner, Roddy Raw. This is all interrupted by AJ Styles coming down to the ring to interrupt the whole goddamn thing. He goes on a tirade about, you know, how Ziggler mistreated him in the back. Heath Slater walks by him. He says, don't even ask me. I'm not going to be your tag team partner. Heath Slater keeps on going. His tirade is interrupted by Dolph Ziggler. They fight on the rampway. Shane gets security to eliminate both of them. Go to the commercial break. Come back from commercial break. We get the match that I like. We get Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch with Naomi and Natalya on commentary, clinging to strings of relevancy. Oh, yes. Collar and elbow tie-up, and Becky works the arm drag by Bliss, key lock by Becky, headlock takeover by Bliss, and a counter by Becky into the same. Bliss stands on Becky's back, which is great, head and arm lock. Becky bends and twists the hand. She gets her in a compromising position, shall we say, and then just starts bending the hand. Now, this is not a wrestling maneuver. This is just somebody fucking with your digits, which just, it's one of those things in wrestling. There isn't very many. Another one is a thumbtack spot. But when you start working on somebody's individual digits, I don't know about you, maybe it's just me, but that's something that just makes me cringe, because it's something I can relate to a little bit more. I can't relate to being thrown through a plate glass window or falling off a ladder through 10 tables. But I can relate to bending my finger back. I can relate to, you know, getting my thumb or my finger caught in something. I can relate to, you know, I don't fall on beds of thumbtacks, but I've been poked by a thumbtack or two in my time on Bristol boards and all that sort of thing. So it's sometimes it's those little things that get you, but it just makes your whole back go up. You know what I mean? Forearm in the corner by Becky. Wheelbarrow suplex and a disarmer gets the win for Becky. During this whole, and again, I complained about this last night. And I complained about it when it happened, and I'm going to complain about it again tonight, kind of. Yes, we're building towards the six-pack challenge, so there is a reason for this to happen now. I wish some point down the line that we get this match one-on-one on a pay-per-view stage so that it could have gotten more time. I mean, the notes for this match only take up this much of the page. That's the thing. But Natty and Naomi just being catty and shitty and failing so hard to be relevant. So hard. First round of the Tag Team Championship Tournament for the Blue Belts. The Ascension versus the Usos, and you know what's going to happen, but whatever. The Ascension jumped the Usos early with a double takedown. Uppercuts by Victor, a tackle by Connor, a toss by Jey Uso, and a corner splash by Jimmy. Corner chops by Victor in a single leg crab, and gets him in a single leg crab, and Corner drops a big leg drop on the back of his head, which is a nice little bit of tandem tag team, whatever. The Ascension could be cool again if we give them a little bit of a revamp. I'm just, like, there was no way they were going to win this against the Usos, but it is what it is. Double nerve hold by Connor is a little less than impressive looking. Insecurity by Jimmy, top rope crossbody by Jay, and a super kick and a Samoan drop. Huge tackle by Connor, super kick by Jimmy, suicide dive by Jimmy, and a splash by Jimmy get the win, predictably, for the Usos. AJ Styles comes out with Cena's armband still on, which just makes me... He just comes out and he's so good at being a fucking asshole. As much as I liked him in TNA, and he did a bunch of goofy shit in TNA, but he was a babyface most of the time, and he's, you know, the stand-up guy, the Snow White babyface. There's a reason we called him the John Cena of TNA at one point, isn't there? If you had told me back then, I was a fan of him then, you know, back in the Styles, Daniels, Joe... Triple Threats, X Division, all over the damn place. I was a fan of him then, but if you told me then that you were going to get this heel out of AJ Styles, I would have laughed at you, but I'm glad I was wrong. Comes out and he says, I see a lot of jealous faces after what I did last night, especially Dolph Ziggler. Look what he did to me in the back. I did what I said I was going to do. Cena fans can thank me now because they are free. They don't have to be fans of John Cena anymore. They get to be fans of AJ Styles. I'm the new face that runs the place. I should be challenging for the WWE World Championship against Dean Ambrose. Ziggler comes out on the ramp to interrupt him. He's stopped by security once again. Bryan comes out to follow the security and says, you guys both deserve a title shot. He says, AJ Styles, you beat the face that runs the place at SummerSlam. You deserve a title shot. Ziggler, you came this close to becoming the champion, and you might deserve a shot too. You both want to fight. The crowd wants to see you fight. Here's the idea. We're going to have a match tonight. AJ, you've got your shot against Ambrose at Backlash. You win the match, you've got your match with Ambrose. Ziggler wins the match, he gets thrown into the match. He gets thrown into the match at Backlash, and it becomes a triple threat. So now, it's kind of funny because if AJ Styles walked out of the match and said, fuck it, I'm not fighting tonight. I just fought John Cena last night, or 2 nights ago, fuck all of you. He's still got a title shot at Backlash. Now, I get that the chances are better and the odds are better if you are in a one-on-one scenario. But it really puts Ziggler in the 5-hole on this main event. But it is what it is. Everybody shares. Roddy Raw. We're going to get Styles versus Ziggler. So if nothing else, that's going to be a fun match. We have a preview package, and I didn't mention this last week. The Curt Hawkins facts. If anybody has ever seen the memes or the slideshows or the Facebook montages or whatever, the Chuck Norris facts, whatever, the one that I always like was when Chuck Norris goes swimming, he doesn't get wet, the water gets chucked. They basically took a whole bunch of Chuck Norris things and made them about Curt Hawkins, because Curt Hawkins is coming back, and because they can. Oh yes. It's good. I'm really interested to see what Curt Hawkins does when he comes back, because thoroughly entrenched in a tag team with Zack Ryder, his old partner, is Mojo Rawley. I don't know. I almost want to say, because Mojo Rawley's like the hype guy, the energized guy, the fun-loving guy, whatever. I almost want to say keep him babyface, have Hawkins and Ryder go heel on him, 2-on-1 beatdown. They go chase the tag team titles as heels. But that's just one idea that I had. Carmella versus Nikki Bella doesn't really happen, unfortunately, because Nikki Bella is getting interviewed in the ring by Renee Young, which means 2 of the most beautiful women in wrestling are sharing some ring time, which is great for me. While she's getting interviewed, talking about what it meant to come back here and all this, and it's all very strange because she's the heel. Why is she getting so much applause and whatnot? She's jumped by Carmella from behind, who faceplants Nikki. She picks her up after kicking her in the back and in the neck and all that sort of thing. Picks her back up for a modified sort of faceplant mic check type maneuver. I don't really know what to call it, I'm sorry, because it was kind of awkward looking. And then just mounts her. Be good. And just keeps punching on her back, whatever. Picks her up and hits the X Factor, which commentary reminded me, because I forgot, was at one point called the Bella Buster. So, adding insult to injury and all that sort of thing. The match is thrown out. The match never happens. I like this. Was it the best double turn in the world? No. Does anybody really care about Carmella? No. But you gotta know that her as a babyface wasn't working. Even when she was with Enzo and Cass in NXT, when Enzo and Cass were one of the hottest things in NXT, she, as an element on her own, was getting booed. They loved Enzo and Cass. They hated her. So why did they think that people were going to gravitate to her on the main roster? Now, on the other side of the coin, and I said this, I spent a lot of time on Twitter tonight talking to DJ Cass and the lovely Elena from OK Fabe's Post Raw Rundown. Used to be the Random Wrestling Podcast. Now it's the Post Raw Rundown. Over on OK Fabe's channel, youtube.com/OKFaber. And you can check them out there as well, and you really should. Shout out to both of them. Had a lot of conversation with them on Twitter tonight. But basically, I discussed the fact that WWE did right here what they should have done with Seth Rollins. You got somebody who, well documented, is coming back from a terrible life or career-threatening injury. They've braved it through, they've gone through, they're good people and charitable people and all that in real life, plus they've just had this big thing that they've fought through. They've triumphantly arrived back on the roster. Even if you're not a fan of Nikki Bella, you're going to respect the shit out of her, at least for a little while. Why are you going to bring her back as a heel? Why did they bring back Seth Rollins as a heel? They did the WWE 24 special on him, his big, triumphant road to recovery. Nobody's going to boo the guy. So yeah, Nikki Bella came back at SummerSlam as a heel because the slot that she needed to fill was on a heel team. And I guess their first motion after they heard the response that she got at SummerSlam was fucking magical. But you knew that she was going to fill that slot for one night, and they were going to have to turn her or do something, because they have to have learned from the Seth Rollins mistake. Carmella as a heel, the fact that people aren't that invested in her will make them cheer whoever she's in the ring with, and if they're baby faces, that makes all kinds of sense. So this double turn all needed to happen. I'm glad it happened. I'm not going to say it was the most spectacular, because the beatdown was just awkward, and that I'm putting that one on Carmella. Yes, I'm a little biased. But it's good going forward. If she's a babyface, Oh man, Nikki Bella versus Alexa Bliss. Sorry, I lost myself in thought there for a second. Orton comes out and said, nobody expected me to be here tonight, but here I am. He talks about the 10 staples in his fight with Lesnar. He said, I would have rather been carried out unconscious on a stretcher than have things ended the way they did. Shane came down to stop the match. I understand that he was doing what he thought he needed to do, but it wasn't the right thing to do at the time, and I promise you, I will cross paths with Brock Lesnar again. Jump scare, out comes Bray Wyatt in his creepy rocking chair, by himself, no Eric Rowan, which is fucking great. Goes back to what made Bray Wyatt Bray Wyatt. Just cuts himself a creepy ass promo. Asks Randy how his head is. He says, I watched very carefully what Lesnar did to you at SummerSlam. Something like this just reminds you that you're only a man. You're a great man, but you're just a man, and a man can hurt, and a man can suffer, and a man can die. Lucky for me, I am no man. I am a god. Gods can never die, and you'll find all that about in due time. Jump scare. Dark Arena vanishes, does its point. It's enough. It was little, it was subtle, they didn't do too much, it was fucking great. Also, Orton coming out with the... You could tell when Orton first came out, the WWE and the PG and the blah, 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 they were trying to shoot him from the other side so that the staples weren't right on camera, but then he kind of did one of these, like, to the camera. I don't know whether that's a fuck you to the PG enforcers or whether it was just, look how badass I am. But it is what it is, and it served its purpose, and we know why Bray Wyatt was held off of SummerSlam. Two of the people that were rumored to have interfered in the Brock Lesnar match, both Bray Wyatt and Bill Goldberg, neither one of them got involved at SummerSlam. You got to figure that has to do with the fact that the match ended a bit early. Shane, in the back, talks to JoJo, who keeps asking and keeps asking and keeps asking him, you know, wanting to get him riled up, talking about the fact that Brock Lesnar, you know, Steph said she was going to deal with Brock Lesnar, only fined him $500 and all this sort of thing, and prize and prize and prize. And he basically says, just so you know, all I'm going to tell you right now is it's not over between me and Brock. Which means, potentially, sometime in the future, we're going to get Shane McMahon versus Brock Lesnar. Oh my gentle Jesus. In the back, for reasons, Slater he fails to convince Arn Anderson to be his tag team partner, and big hand falls on his shoulder, and all you hear is a voice saying, I bet tag team championship gold could help you pay for that in-ground pool, and it's fucking Rhino. So Rhino and the tag team of Rhino and Heath Slater are in the tag team tournament. I should say, Shane McMahon, at the beginning of the night, I'm sorry guys, I missed this, but he said that if Slater can find a partner, he'll be thrown into the tournament, and the tournament will be a 8-team tournament. Now, if you think about it, American Alpha, the Hype Bros, the Usos, the Ascension, the Vaudevillains, and Breezango. There's your 6 teams on the roster. Throw in the Slater and Rhino team, now that's 7. Do you think that they're using the tournament to debut another tag team? I will say this. I will say this for what it's worth. For those of you that are watching the Cruiserweight Classic, Harv and Gurv Sira both got eliminated from the tournament in the first round. If WWE has signed the Bollywood Boys to a tag team contract and put them on SmackDown and throws them in this tournament, even if they don't win, I'll be okay with that because they're entertaining, and I think they will do entertaining things on SmackDown. Speaking of entertaining, and I gotta go back to Elena on this one because me and Elena have one thing in common, we're both a fan of Breezango, which is awesome. I said it on Twitter and I believe it 100%. They are not the best team on the roster, by far, but these guys, because of their gimmicks, are criminally underrated. Criminally underrated. You went into this match, they're facing American Alpha, the new golden gods that have just come up from NXT that everybody loves, you know, comparing them to the Steiners and Team Angle and everybody else. It would be sacrilegious for American Alpha to lose this tournament, would it not? Oh my goodness. But in this match, I dare you to watch this match and tell me that Breezango are not, maybe not as individual characters, I will give you that. As a team in the ring, they are good. They are a lot better than people are giving them credit for. That's all I'm going to say about that. They're suffering from what I call Nikki Bella syndrome. Fandango and Gable start with a collar and elbow tie-up, and Fandango hits a headlock. Snapmare by Fandango and a front slam by Gable. Arm drag by Gable and a drop kick by Jordan. Drop kick by Gable and tandem front slams on both members of Breezango as they toss them out of the ring. Atomic drop and an armbar by Jordan, and an arm jam by Gable, followed up by an armbar by him as well. Elbow drop to the elbow from the top rope by Jordan, which is always nice. They're working the arm. They're the technical guys, so the ring psychology almost like flows so friggin' naturally. Clothesline by Fandango takes us into commercial break. Fandango tosses Gable. Gable tosses Fandango. There's that story you guys know. Clear as day. I love that story. Anything you can do, I can do better. Rolling clotheslines, drop kicks, and superplexes by Jordan. Corner spear by Jordan, and a bridging German by Gable that is so fucking pretty. Rana out of nowhere by Breeze and a super kick. He's got him sitting inverted on the turnbuckle. He's got him standing on the second turnbuckle, sort of inverted so that he's looking through his own legs at Breeze, and Breeze comes up, he's precariously perched up there with no real where to go. His head is upside down, and he eats a super kick. That's a good little spot. Gable tackles Fandango clear over the top rope. Enziguri by Breeze. Capture overhead belly-to-belly suplex by Jordan. Grand Amplitude by American Alpha gets the obvious win. Breezango were gold in this match. Congratulations to American Alpha, because they are also fucking fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But Breezango looked gold in this match. Go back. Ignore the gimmick. Ignore the fuzzy pants and the friggin' selfie sticks and all that bullshit. Ignore the gimmick. Watch the match. Tell me Breezango didn't look like gold in this match. Ziggler versus Styles is your main event, with Ambrose obviously on commentary. Ambrose, who just, because they were in the Mohegan Sun Casino tonight, who had just come down from the slots and just found out that this match was happening for a chance to fight him for his title, mind you. Sorry, guys. 1 minute. Anyway, we go. Chain wrestling to start. A headlock by Styles. Chops and punches by Styles, and a side suplex by Ziggler. A choke and a body scissor combination by Ziggler, and a dropkick takes us into the first commercial break. Corner spears by Styles, a mudhole, and a hard Irish whip. Corner beatdown by Ziggler. Ziggler eats the turnbuckle throat first in a really awkward Irish whip spot. He Irish whips him into the corner. Looks like he's going to take it with his chest. I think he missed it by just a little bit, because if you watch it on TV and if you watch the replay, it looks like the turnbuckle hits him right here. Dean Ambrose says almost immediately, watch his arm. His arm might go numb off of a maneuver like that, off of an impact like that. And throughout the match, he does sell having a numb arm. I'm sorry, there's a fan blowing behind me, so my paper is going all over the place. That's all kinds of fun. Running backbreaker by Styles as they trade punches. Roundhouse kick by Styles. More chain wrestling. Chain wrestling I find really hard to explain. That's why my notes just say chain wrestling, because, you know, they counter and they counter and they counter and they counter, and it's all good and it's all wonderful. It's just, I don't know how to put it into words while I'm watching television. Okay, running out of breath. Knee lift by Styles. Ziggler eats turnbuckle and another mudhole stomp. They trade punches, and a neckbreaker in the ropes by Styles sends us into the second commercial break. Coming back from the commercial break, Styles rides a headlock, a keylock, and an armbar. Working the neck, working the arm some more. At one point, he's actually sitting on the arm. He's actually standing for the keylock, gets him all the way down so that he's almost sitting on his shoulder by the time he's got him in the armbar. It's just, we're going to dislocate the entire upper half of your body. Kitchen sink by Styles, dropkick by Ziggler, rolling clotheslines by Ziggler, and what the fuck is that? Oh, and a shower of elbows. My writing sucks. I'm sorry. Famouser by Ziggler, Death Valley Driver over the knee by Styles, slam by Styles, jumping DDT by Ziggler, zigzag by Ziggler is violent, because he takes him and he Irish whips him chest first into the ropes and catches him on the rebound and throws his own body and AJ's at the mat in a way that doesn't look nice. Styles regains his composure, eventually hits a Styles clash, gets the win. It's him and Styles. Sorry, it's Styles and Ambrose at Backlash for the WWE World title. Mauro Ranallo on commentary, the minute the 3 count goes down, does an excellent job just selling the heartbreak of Dolph Ziggler, you know, getting this close once again and falling off. Mauro Ranallo is just fucking magic on the mic. Now, this, for the main roster of WWE, SummerSlam had 6 hours. Raw had 3 hours. This show had 2 hours and already has me set up for Backlash. What are we getting at Backlash? We're going to be doing something for the Intercontinental Championship. We don't know what yet. Could be a rematch with Apollo Crews. We don't know. We're going to get the finals of this tag team tournament. We're going to get a six-pack challenge for the Women's Championship. We're probably getting Orton versus Wyatt, and we're definitely getting Ambrose versus Styles for the world title. This is the shortest show of main roster content that WWE gives us, and they've already basically set up their next pay-per-view. Go back to everything I said about Raw last night, and as soon as the draft happened, I did a video called "Why is Spaz on Team Blue?" and it's all coming to fruition. The first SmackDown after the draft was a piece of shit. We know that. But then they picked up their pace, and since then, SmackDown has been steadily winning, and it's no more evident than it is right here. Team Blue, that's my team. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed my rant last night on Raw. I hope you enjoyed my much more positive video here tonight, and I hope you understand going forward, unless something drastically changes, why I am firmly Team SmackDown as far as the draft goes. I'd love to know your thoughts down in the box below if you've got thoughts on my rant last night in comparison to all the positive things I've had to say tonight. Also, throw them down in the box below. Also, you've got until Thursday to throw your questions in the box of the last Q&A for the next Q&A, and I'll be doing that either Thursday or Friday, depending on my schedule. Anyways, I've rambled on for quite long enough. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, a very, very happy me is tagging out. Bye, guys.